Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there friends, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Now today we're going to look at the great convocation that's called. We began yesterday with the judge coming. He's on his way. He's called the earth. He's shining. The fire is devouring before him. And you'll notice something very significant, and I didn't mention it yesterday, and I should have, is that in verse 3, it says, "Our God shall come and shall not keep silence." So he's going to have something to say. It's very important what he's going to say. So verse 1, our prophet Asaph tells us, "The mighty God, even the Lord, hath spoken and called the earth." Then in 3, he says, he will not keep silent. So we're going to find out exactly what it is that God has to say. Now in verses 4, 5, and 6, that's our subject today. We end here with the Selah, but we're still setting up the great convocation, because after the Selah, he's going to have everything in place. And then in verse 7 through 15, we're going to see his speech, what his not keeping silence, and what he has to say to the people, to his people. Okay, so let's set up the convocation here. He shall call to the heavens from above and to the earth, that he may judge his people. All right, now that's verse 4. Notice that we have the earth is called, the sun is called, there's a fire devouring before him. Now he calls to the heavens and again to the earth. He's going to judge his people. So heaven and earth are coming as witnesses. Verse 5, "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself." Selah. So we have a judgment scene, a court scene set before us. We have the heavens, the heavens and the earth are coming. They're going to be witnesses to this. He says now in verse, let's see, what is it? It's in verse 4 that he's going to judge his people. And then there in verse 5, he says, "Gather my saints." So now we've gone from just everybody to his saints. So his people would be his, those in covenant with him. The saints, those that have made covenant with me by sacrifice. So we now know who we're talking about. We're talking about Israel. "And the heavens shall declare his righteousness." So the heavens are proclaiming the righteousness of God against those very people that are in covenant with him. For God is judge himself. So God's going to come and he's going to judge. And he has something to say now to all the people that are gathered there. So let's review what we've got. We have the Lord himself declaring, calling the earth. He's calling it from end to end, from the rising of the sun to the setting of the sun. Out of Zion, God hath shined. So we see him coming. He shall come, it says there in verse 3. He won't keep silent, so he's got something to say. A fire devours before him. That fire is very much like what we find in Ezekiel chapter 1. There's a fire burning before him. It's very tempestuous around him. So it's fiery, it's burning, and it's active. And then we have the heavens called, the earth is called again, his people are called to this judgment. And he identifies them very clearly for them. They're his people, my saints. Notice that, my saints. So we've gone from he shall call his people to gather my saints unto me. So we suddenly have switched to the first person. Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So the judge is directing who should come. God is judge himself. Ladies and gentlemen, that is true for Asaph, and that is true for you and me. God is judge himself. Selah. He will be judge over all things. Join me again tomorrow. We'll pick up probably the biggest bite of the week, beginning in verse 7. And I'll see you then here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.